Hello there! Thank you for watching. Today I would like to talk about life planning. And this is one of my favorite topics. You've all told me you wanted to hear more about it. This life of yours that you're living right now was carefully planned. The characters that you would encounter during your life, especially those who would have the most tremendous impact on who you are. These meetings were determined long ago. That's why we get that feeling, we sense that energy when we encounter these people. Those big opportunities where someone just showed you benevolence and said, hey, I believe in you. Give this a try, I think you'll succeed. Those opportunities were planned in advance. And those challenges, the devastating moments, the loss, hardship that we feel like maybe we'll never be able to come back from. Those experiences so dark, so devastating, that we're changed on a fundamental level, no longer the person that we once were. Those two are planned in advance. After each earthly life, we are warmly welcomed on the other side. After each earthly life, we are just embraced by our loved ones. We are embraced by our guides, and their love helps to strengthen us. At that point, after living an earthly life, we are very depleted of energy and a little bit shaken up by the intensity of earth life and all of its different iterations and all the things that happen down here. And so the love restores us. And usually there's celebration for the life that we lived. This person that you are right now, this personality is temporary, but it's very meaningful. And at the end of this life, this personality that you are now, this name, this face, it will be celebrated. Who you are right now, no matter how successful you feel like you are in this moment, this life will be celebrated. And so there's a celebration. And then after the celebration, there's an unpacking of the life. Some of this has to do with the extent to which we developed ourselves personally in our life, the extent to which we faced our fears, the extent to which we utilized our natural God-given gifts and talents. And some of it has to do with the effects that we had on other people. Did we utilize our soul's spark to lift others up or pull them down? This includes both the intended effects that we had on other people as well as unintended effects, which are always a part of life. After carefully reviewing the life that we lived, we then identify areas where we did quite well and areas where maybe we missed the signs. And we all have guides, we all have a guardian angel. One of the main differences is that the guides remain in the higher realms, and the guardian angel is actually here in the physical with us, although they're an invisible being. If your life has been saved, you were pulled out from an oncoming train, that was the guardian angel. They're allowed here in the earth plane to intervene when called upon. The guides, however, guide us from the other side in subtle ways, which usually involves drawing our attention to that which is a part of our soul's journey by directing or inserting thoughts into our mind, or even literally directing our gaze to people, places, things that are going to expand our soul. But sometimes we ignore the signs, or we miss the signs, or there's sort of missed opportunities in life, or there's areas where usually our instinct is always right. So our instinct says, don't do that, that's wrong, or do this, it's good, the good will come. But we ignore the inner voice, or we ignore the instincts. And then after the life, we regret that. And so after completing an earthly life and reuniting with our loved ones on the other side and being recharged by the love and reviewing everything, then we get to the business of planning the next life. And there's a lot of variation in how quickly a soul will return. Ultimately, that's not something to worry about. You will have the choice. Sometimes we think oh, I'm never gonna want to come back. But then as soon as we're on the other side, we're like, wow, that was amazing. Oh my God, life, oh wow. I can't wait to get back, Oh man, I didn't do it. God gave me courage and I didn't use the courage. Send me back. I'm going to do it this time. Give me another opportunity, give me a life. No soul is allowed to actually come back to earth though, until until they're ready and until the details of the life have worked out. So before every life, there's this planning process that, involves our guides, where we state to them what it is that we would like to work on in the life. They also make recommendations based on seeing our patterns throughout many lifetimes or different expressions of our soul. Together, we create a life circumstance, including things like our gender, our body shape and size, our family, the religious or spiritual upbringing or lack thereof that we'll have in life, the makeup of the brain and the DNA, and how that will allow us to express or not express any illnesses, any ailment, the talents that we'll have, all kinds of stuff. Everything is taken into account. And then critical moments are put into place to ensure that we have the opportunity to express those aspects of our soul that we're hoping to express in this life, and also cultivate intrinsic qualities, things like faithfulness or hopefulness or forgiveness or things like that that we intended to explore in the life. And we plan in the critical moments, the characters that we'll meet who will help us, the characters who will meet who will challenge us. We make agreements while we're on the other side. This gets into a little bit of complexity, but there's a part of us that always remains on the other side. And so even if a person is already incarnated with that person's guides or that part of themselves, about when we'll meet, how we'll meet, what they'll say to us, the opportunities that they'll cultivate to ensure that the life offers exactly what is needed, or at least intended or desired. And I guess the reason that this is all important is because we can be so hard on ourselves in life. Sometimes we look to the lives of others and we think, why don't I have a life like that? Or why don't I have a body like that? Or why are my talents in that area not what that other person's are? And we forget that these circumstances of this body, this time, this moment, these challenges, this work, that all of this was carefully crafted and chosen for us in this life, that there are no mistakes. Often I think when a challenge comes our way, especially, we blame ourselves. There's never really a great moment to experience a challenge, a hardship, right? We all experience hardships though in life, and so there's always going to need to be a time. And I think the guides kind of help to orchestrate and pull their strings like from the other side to ensure that we do face that hardship, when we are most ready and not a single moment before. But it never feels good, when the challenge comes the way, when our spouse leaves us or we lose our job, or we have to foreclose our home, or there's so many different things, the illness strikes, whatever the case may be. Don't blame yourself. These things are a part of life. There are reasons behind the hardships that we face. And the reasons could be varied. There's not the same reason for every soul. It depends on what it is that you're seeking to express and cultivate in this life, but there is a reason and there is a timing to it. And very often these difficult things can't be avoided. It was a matter of timing, and somehow, some way we were going to have to face these events at some point in time. And if you're facing them now, it's because a power higher than you determined that now is the best time. And if you find yourself in circumstances in life, it's because you have within yourself what it takes to rise to those circumstances. That is simply fundamentally and inherently true. Because we're actually not allowed to plan things that we're not going to be able to succeed in. That's why we have the guides, because sometimes we can be overly ambitious with a life, or some of us are overly cautious because of the difficulties we face, and we would choose a life a bit too easy. And actually we need the right level of challenge in any given life so that we're not overwhelmed and giving up, but we're also not underwhelmed and experiencing too much ease. There's a lot of planning that goes into every life, and it can feel really random when we're here, and we can feel really, really confused, but just know that you are who you're meant to be. Know that these circumstances, they probably are not right for your best friend or your sibling or someone else, but they're right for you. You, the bigger you, not just this you, but the you that you really are. They're right for your soul and exactly what's needed right now. So I hope that we all just can find a little bit more peace with our earthly lives, knowing that they are carefully planned. Thank you all so much for watching today. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's an honor to have you here. Many blessings to you. And namaste.